I started off a previous video saying that I didn't think that I had too much makeup, and that I didn't think you had too much makeup either. We just had too much of the wrong kind of makeup. Makeup that was old, or didn't work on our skin type, or was the wrong shades for us. And if we could just weed out that stuff, then we would have a collection of everything that we loved, and it would be great. And then I got to my blushes. And I might have to revise that statement because, and I don't even know if I can lift both of these, but there's a lot here. And I might have too much. Once again, I put all my blushes into my spreadsheet. If you've watched any of my other videos, then you also know that I'm trying to track down when I purchased them and what I paid for them. And I'm putting that in the spreadsheet as well. And so I can tell you that I'm starting out this video with 24 cream, stick, gel, liquid type blushes and 34 powder blushes. The total value of the inventory right now is $366.61. If I was unable to find exactly what I paid for it, or if it was gifted to me, I went and looked up the retail price of it. If it's no longer available, I couldn't find a value for it, then in some cases I do have a value of $0. But I think with 54 blushes at $366, you should be able to tell that the majority of my collection is drugstore. I wasn't sure if I was going to do this by type or shade or exactly how I want to do this, but I think I'm going to do the cream, liquid, gel stuff first and maybe by shade. And that way I can maybe weed out some where I have pretty close on duplicates and get rid of the oldest ones or the one that I don't like the most. Sometimes I might like the older one better and I'll keep that. I did lose my voice completely with this cold that I had for 2 days. I couldn't speak above a whisper. It's coming back. But if you watched any of my other videos, you know that this is not my normal voice. Hopefully by the next one, I'll be all back to normal. Pretend you're sitting across the table from me and we're looking at these and you're going to help me decide which of these are similar enough that I don't need to keep all of them. So this Dalton blush, Steppin' Out, is a very rosy mauve. I love this shade. I think it is so pretty. But I also think that I probably have others over here that are very similar. For example, the Dalton in Vegas Nights is also kind of that rosy nude, but it's a little pinker. So, okay, I'm going to put this with the ones that I think are a little pinker and move on. This one came from, I believe this was from Temu, and it is a liquid blush. Also very pink. Maybe I should be doing the pink ones first. But also kind of a corally pink. So then the e.l.f. Putty Blush. This is in Tahiti. And it is also kind of a coral, but it's kind of going on splotchy. It feels weird. I'm not sure. This was November of 2023, so it's not that old, but it kind of almost looks like it needs to be stirred up or something. I don't know. It looks weird, and it's kind of splotchy. So I'm not sure if this one's going to get kept or not. And then, since we're doing pinks now, I guess I could go to this ColourPop in At First Blush. This is a shimmery one. Ooh, really shimmery. Make sure I got my arm in here for the swatches. Okay. And that one is really pink. So I love this shade. I know I don't often use a shimmer blush, but I'm definitely going to keep that one. Then I have this Moira Love Heat Cream Blush in I Miss You. And it is also really pretty. Ooh. And a really nice formula. Okay, good. You can still see them all. The Moira Love Steady Liquid Blush. This one I just got in July of this year. And it is that kind of purpley blush. Super cool toned. And really, really pretty. It's a kind of a deeper shade of that one. Oh my goodness, you guys. This is going to be so hard. This LA Colors Blush Up is a really pretty mauve. I'm going to put it down here by this guy because I think it will go with that. Oh, I used more of that than I thought. Oh, wow, I just used a lot. Used more of that than I thought I did. But it's more of a brown nude than it is actually a mauve. So that is unique to the shades that I have on there so far. The Tarte blush tape is also new in 2024, and I do like this. I haven't used it very much, but it already feels like there's just not a ton in there. Ooh. I'm being very generous with my swatches. I didn't realize that that was quite as warm-ish leaning as it is. And I'm reaching over here. The next one is an LA Colors Cream Gel Blush. And this is a really light pink. I think this will be pretty for spring. I think that would be a really pretty blush for spring. And it's definitely unique to what I have in here. And then there's one more, and I know that this one is going to go. This is a ColourPop Super Shock Between the Sheets. I don't know how long I've had this, but it is very, very dry. And I don't have any interest in trying to rehydrate it and keep it. So I am going to declutter that one. But then let's look at what's on my arm here. You guys see all of them? Oops, stuck my finger in that one. This is a deeper mauve than anything else that's on here, and I really like that. This was that ColourPop that's I don't really like. I really like this because it's very unique. Definitely keeping the Tarte, this Moira, and this Moira. I think this e.l.f. Putty Blush might be getting decluttered. It's very splotchy, and I think it's just old. I don't like the way that's performing, so I'm going to get rid of that one. This one was that guy right there. Yeah, that can stay too. Okay, so out of the mauve pinks, I'm keeping these and decluttering these. So this one is being done a little bit differently than all the others because I really want to compare these shades, weed out the identical ones, and only keep what I love. So right now, these are the ones that are being kept from that. And so now I have another set that are all of my warm blushes. So let's go through the swatch process with these. The Peach Bums blush stick from Wet n Wild, I believe, is supposed to be a dupe for a Charlotte Tilbury. I don't know which one, Peachgasm, something like that. But I just really like it. I think it's pretty, especially in spring and summer when you just kind of really want a sun-kissed glow. I think it's beautiful. The Catrice Cheek Lift is also similar, but it has a little bit more pigment and just a little bit more pink to it. Let's just go all with all the sticks here. Then I have the Essence. Am I in frame? I can't. It's hard to tell. The Essence Baby Got Blush. And this one is actually almost more mauve. But this is such a nice formula, and I'm definitely keeping that. But I think I'm going to move it over to my mauves. It's not going to matter. They're all going back in the same bin when I'm done. I do have two more sticks. This one from Palladio, I got on Amazon. I'm blushing, and it is also a shimmery blush, but it is very, very similar to this guy, although not as shiny. I might keep these and try them and see which one wins actually on my face, and then make a decision and only keep one of them, because I truly don't think I need two shiny, peachy blushes, because I think when you blend these out, these two are going to look very, very much the same. And I think the Wet n Wild might have a little bit more glitter than I really actually want. The e.l.f. Monochromatic Multi-Stick is also glowy, and I don't know why I have all of these glowy sticks, because I just really don't wear glowy blush very often. This one is really, really light. I like the formula of these multi-sticks, But I think I'm going to pass this one along to someone else because that's just not a great color on my skin tone. Then I have some cream blushes. This one from Doll 10 is the one that was in my Out the Door in 24 for all of 2024, and I did finally hit pan in it. This is She's a Doll. Let's see if I can do this without blinding you guys. Let's do it that way. Okay, and so let's go ahead and swatch that one. Just a fairly neutral peach blush. I'm going to go ahead and keep it because I would like to try to use it to completion. And then another Doll 10 in Popstar Peach. This one is really pretty in the spring and summer because it is more peachy. But I think I have other things that are pretty close to this, so I'm trying to line these up in the order I used them. And then another of the LA Colors Blush Up. This one is in Nude Glow. That one is very orange. I'm not sure about that. LA Girl Soft Matte Cream Blush is kind of similar. This one is in Rosebud. And I appreciate, oh, this is actually a pink. I thought by the, this one needs to go with the others. Oh, that's a pretty, pretty shade. Wow, do you guys see that? Next up is the e.l.f. Camo Liquid Blush. This is in the shade. I'd love to be able to tell you, but I can't read it, so I'll put it on the screen. All right, this is obviously a liquidy blush, and it is super pigmented. You don't need a lot of it, but it is a nice warm blush. And then similar to it, but I'm not sure which one I actually like better, is this one from Wet n Wild, the Mega Glow Lip and Cheek Color in Rosy Romance. What I like about this one is it is pigmented, but it isn't quite as difficult to work with as the e.l.f. You have a little bit more time. And let's see. Put that in there. It's a little more moussey feeling than the e.l.f., but it's very similarly colored. So I'm going to keep them both because they're new. But if you have one, you probably don't need the other. But if I got more of them, I would probably get more of the Wet n Wild and not the e.l.f. I just like this formula a little bit better. Another LA Color Cream Gel Blush. This is in Hypnotized. And I'm going to come down over here because I'm running out of room. I hit my elbow. There we go. Goodness, these are all so similar. Now that one is a little more orange. I think, honestly, between the two of these, they're very, very similar. This one has a little more pigment, but if you sheared it out, you would get the same thing as this. And I do believe that they have replaced this with this new one. So I'm going to declutter this one. And I'll keep that one. All right, I've got two more. This Morphe, I don't remember the name of it. It is kind of a moussey feeling blush. And it's really old, and I think you could see when I put it on there, it's kind of crumbly. It's more pink than it is warm, but I am going to declutter this one as well. I've had it for a really long time, and it's not one that I ever reach for. And then the last one in this category is the ColourPop Super Shock Cheek in Drop of a Hat. And it's also a glowy, warm blush. Let's put it like right here. Can you see it? And honestly, it just kind of looks like the other ones on here. So I think, and then looking at this one is kind of broken up, and like with my wrist bending, I had to take a little bit of a break because my camera battery died. And this one has kind of honestly settled in my creases and stuff, which is interesting. That is deeper, isn't it? All right, I think I'm going to keep this one, but I'm going to declutter Peach Bums. It's a fun, there's nothing wrong with it. I just have too much. And so I know that I'll be able to find somebody who would love to use this, and I will pass it along. All right, so that's the cream blushes, and I will be back in just a minute for the powders. Okay, now for the powders, and there are 33 blushes. I have them loosely divided into warm and cool, pink and coral kind of thing. So I am going to take these out of the way, and we'll go through the pinks, cool tones first, and see what we've got here. And I'm going to be completely upfront with you here, and I don't think that there's much in this that's going to be decluttered because I really do like my blushes. The Essence Pure Nude Baked Blush is so good. It has a little bit of a shimmer. I don't know if we'll swatch all of these or not, but it's just really pretty when you want a pink blush. It does a great job. It does have a little bit of a shimmer. So if I'm looking for a matte blush, I would go with this e.l.f. in bright pink. This one I don't think you can get anymore. This was when you could get e.l.f. blushes for like $2 or something. And you can see it's a little bit similar, but it's a little bit deeper and it's not shimmery. Keeping both. The L'Oreal True Match Super Blendable Blush. This one is fairly new. I actually panned one of these completely, I believe in 2023. And so I repurchased this, and I really like this shade. It's just really nice on my light skin tone when I want a blush that's just kind of barely there. This one does the trick really well. This ColourPop Pressed Powder Blush in Flirt Alert is actually my newest blush. And I mean, the packaging is cute, but I prefer something that was a little sleeker, wasn't quite so bulky. Anyway, this blush just doesn't want to show up on my skin. I go in, I try to swatch, it goes away. I mean, I can get a little bit, but with a brush, I can't. And I think you might be able to see it's already getting hard pan. So as much as I usually enjoy ColourPop, I might get rid of this because honestly, it's just way too much work. Maybe a deeper shade would be a better option. I can't even tell if I like the formula or not because I can't see it on my skin. The infamous Essence Mosaic Blush in All You Need Is Pink. I've talked about this so much, I'm not going to do it again, but I am keeping it because I really want to use this thing up. Oh, I guess I could swatch it for you. Yeah, it's just another pink. The BH Cosmetics Floral Blush. This one is really pretty. It's a duo blush. You can go in with this one and get that shade. You can go in and get the pink shade, or you can swirl them together and get something kind of combined. And it's hard to get just one or the other because of the way the pan is, but I just think it's a really pretty blush, and so I'm keeping it. The e.l.f. Primer Infused Shimmer Blush. I looked for this on their website, and I don't think these are available anymore, but it's just a really pretty formula. It's very soft. Actually, it's very much like that. It's very soft and silky, has a little bit of shimmer, but not over the top. Just gives you a nice glow, and yes, keeping that. I enjoy that. I have two blushes here from Makeup Geek. I think when they were going out of business, I got a couple of things, and so one is kind of a little bit warm and one is a little more cool. And they're pretty, but I always forget that I have them, and so I never use them. I think I'm going to declutter these because they're very similar to other things that I already have. I have a Tarte Amazonian Clay Blush in Exposed. This one I dropped and had to repress, but I do like it. I'm going to start doing over here. It's actually probably a little bit warmer. I thought it was more cool, but it's another one that doesn't have a ton of pigment to it, but it is really pretty on the cheek. So I'm going to keep that. The first Kokie Soft Radiant Blush that I have is in Heartthrob, and I like this one. You have the beautiful embossing on here, but you have two shades again, so you can stay in the top part of the pan and get this really bright pink. You can come down here and get a lighter pink, or again, swirl them together and get a blend. And they just, oh my goodness, there's so many that are alike, but we're gonna just go with it. Okay. This AOA Studios Lumi Blush, in Rose Dawn, I think might be one that I'm going to get rid of because it is super glowy. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful shade, but I think you might even be able to see here on my arm that it really accentuates texture. When you have a softer glow, it doesn't do that as much. I think I'm going to let this one go. The formula is beautiful. It lasts all day. It's just more glowy than I want. In friend mail, I got the Persona Super Blush in Bubble. And this is that bright pink that just kind of took the world by storm a couple years ago. And it's really pretty. When you're doing a cool pink look, this is great. This would be pretty for Valentine's Day. Keeping. All right, I have a couple of Essence blushes here. And I love these blushes from Essence. For one thing, they are so super affordable. And for another, they just have a great formula. This one is Befitting. Now, these two, the blush, you can't get anymore. They've replaced it with Blush Crush. So the blush is just a super kind of neutral. Let's go here. It's just a super neutral blush. And then this one is in Believing, and just like most Essence packaging, it has broken. This is a nice mauve cool tone blush that stays cool toned on me. A lot of times I think something is cool toned, but I put it on and it pulls a little warm. But this one is really pretty. And it's kind of unique in my powder blush collection. And then this Essence Blush Crush is newer, and it is in Lovely Lilac. This is one of those purple blushes. When you want a blush to stay cool toned, if you go in kind of into the purple family, then it will do that. And wow, that is kind of similar. How similar is it to the Persona? I'm curious. Is my arm in the shot? Kind of twist myself around here. Well, I would say it's very similar to the Persona. So if you are looking for that Persona bubble blush, we may have found an accidental dupe here. I'm going to do these again, just a minute. They don't look alike at all in the pan. I would never have guessed that. I'm going to swatch them on the back of my hand, away from all the rest of that. But on my skin, they are really, really similar, especially once they're blended out. Wow. Would have never guessed it. But if you're looking for something like that is a true cool tone pink that stays that way, and you don't want to go for the Persona, you could do the Essence Blush Crush. When you sit down and swatch everything like this all at one time, sometimes you make discoveries that you didn't expect. All right, moving on to the warm shades now. I am going to move these out of the way and get started. We'll go ahead and just grab this little Essence, the blush, because I had 3 of these, the blushes, and this is the last one in Bespoke. This one is more of a brown. They do have just a little bit of shimmer to them, but they're so pretty on the skin. I'm going to keep that one. This one could have easily gone in the face palettes part of the collection, but I went ahead and put it here because it is really all blush. And I'm going to declutter this, not because it's not pretty. It is really pretty, but because I never use it, because it's kind of a pain to use. You can't really get in and pick an individual color. And then if you swirl them together, it's just kind of muddy. So, and they're very glowy. And I don't like really glowy blushes. I like a little bit of glow, but not really glowy. So I am going to declutter this one. I think I have a lot in this that are very similar. I have a Tarte Amazonian Clay in Party Dress. This was in an Ipsy glam bag quite some time ago. And it's just a really pretty corally warm shade. So keeping that. This Joa Airlight Soft Powder Blush has a really pretty velvety texture, and it's a very, very pretty blush. It's not quite as coral, but I'm looking for a warm shade that I don't want to be quite as coral. This is the one I reach for, and I really like it. It's very pretty. Wet n Wild Color Icon. Man, these are This has been around in my collection for a really long time. Keep it peachy. It is a true peach, and I really don't ever use it because it has a lot of yellow undertone that just is not flattering on my skin. So because it's old, because I don't use it, I was unsure of this the last time I did my blush declutter, and I don't think I've used it since. So I'm getting rid of that one. Another one that I think is going to go is this Almay Healthy Hue Blush. It was also one that I wasn't sure of the last time, and I thought, oh, I will use it, because when I swatched it, it was really pretty. But it's another one that it's really hard to get from the pan to my face. It swatches fine, but when I go to use it, it takes forever to build it up. And I have others that I like that I don't have to work that hard, so I just never reach for it. And I'm going to declutter it. My Milani Luminoso, I wanted this for a really long time before I actually broke down and got it. And I still love it, and I'm still keeping it. It is such a pretty blush on my skin tone. It has just the right amount of shimmer. It's not too glowy. Keeping it. The LA Girl Just Blushing, I had others of these, and I decluttered some of them in my last declutter, but I kept this one because it is a pretty peach. It's very similar to the Luminoso, but it doesn't have any glow, and so I will keep that. I have this Ciate London, also from an Ipsy, and this one is in Date Night. I had another one that was more pink, but I got rid of it because it broke. This one is a little bit deeper than some of these other corals. It's really pretty. I'm going to keep that. Again, it is a little bit glowy, but it's not too glowy. Believe Beauty, I've had this one for quite some time. They are no longer in Dollar General. And this is another one that I kept in the last declutter because I thought I would use it, and I don't. So I'm going to declutter it. Oh, I have another essence here. This is the Blush Lighter. It's a gradient blush highlighter, and I think that the highlight is kind of an overspray because you can see right here where it has worn away, and it is also a little bit more of a brownish nude. It's really pretty on the skin. I'm going to keep it. I know I said I don't like them too glowy, and this one is a little bit glowier, but it's such a pretty tone that I'm going to keep it. I have a Moira Signature Blush in Mellow Pink, and this one I usually just swirl them together. Let's put it here. And it's very pretty. I am a little concerned, honestly, about my color on my video. When I'm looking in the viewfinder, it's looking a little off, so I'm hoping it's not off. We'll see when I go to edit, I suppose. The e.l.f. Primer Infused Blush in Always Cheeky. This is so velvety, soft, and smooth. It is a lighter blush, but it's really pretty, and it's very pretty also if I get too much of another blush and I need to tone it down a little. This one can help do that. And my second Kokie Soft Gradient Blush is in Bellissima. And this one, again, I usually swirl them because this up here by itself is really dark and orange. And so I usually swirl them together. And yeah, they're kind of starting all to look alike, aren't they? The Wet n Wild Color Icon in Pearlescent Pink. This is, again, one of the older ones, I believe. But it is so pretty. Such a pretty pinky coral without the orange of some of these others. Just really pretty. I have a ColourPop Pressed Powder Blush in Meteorite, and this one is one that I'm considering maybe not keeping because it's very similar to others I have, and it's also getting old. So I think I'm going to declutter this one because I have this shade covered multiple times over. Another e.l.f. Primer Infused Shimmer Blush, this one in Always Hazy. And this is another one that's kind of a brown. Let's put it up here and see how it compares. Very similar to that first one, this Essence, the blush, isn't it? Although I think this one might be a little bit more gold. I don't know. I may have to use these like together, one on one cheek, one on the other, see how similar they actually are, and determine if I think I need to keep both of them or not. And believe it or not, we're at the last blush. This is the Revolution, the Relove brand that's at Walmart. It's very, very affordable. It's a blush highlighter duo, and this is in Cute. It has the blush, let's just do it back here, which is a very bright melony kind of shade, and then the highlighter, which is also very pretty. And I don't use these often, but I think I'm going to keep it and see if I do, and then make a decision on it. I may put it in a project 3 uses or something like that to see how I actually feel about it, because I haven't used it enough to even really have an opinion. So, all right, yes, I will admit I have a lot of blushes, but I don't have as many as I did when I started this video. I'm actually decluttering 6 of my cream stick liquid blushes, and I'm decluttering 8 of my powder blushes. So I'm decluttering a total of 14 blushes, which I think is pretty fabulous, because I honestly didn't know that I was going to declutter any, maybe 2. And so, yeah, 14, that's great. The thing is, for most of the ones I'm decluttering, there's nothing wrong with them. A couple of them are probably just going in the trash, but for most of them, I am actually going to pass them along to people so that they will get used and loved and not just thrown away. So let's talk totals then. I started off with 24 of the liquid stick cream blushes, decluttered 6, so that leaves me with 18. I started with 33 powder blushes. I'm decluttering 8 of those, so that leaves me with a total of 25 powder blushes that I'm starting the year with. Now, I know it's February, and I said I was going to have all these collection videos done before the end of January, but I didn't. Like I said, I got sick, I had no voice, there have been other things happening, and it took a really long time to gather all of this information. That said, even if I don't get all of these done until the end of February, it's not like in the 3 or 4 weeks that it's going to take me to finish these up, there's going to be significant usage in any of these products. So it's just going to have to be okay if I don't get all of the collection videos done for a couple more weeks. So my total blush collection that I'm starting the year with will be 18 cream stick liquid blushes and 25 powder blushes, for a total of 43 blushes in my collection. Honestly, I don't know that that's going to go down. I seriously doubt if I am going to pan completely a blush this year. I have too many, and they are all too full. So honestly, the only way I see anything leaving my collection is going to be through decluttering more. Now, I may put a liquid blush into my rolling project pan, and yes, I haven't done that yet either, because I wanted to get through all of my collection before I did that video. It's a whole thing. Anyway, but if I put a liquid blush or a cream blush in that, then I might be able to use it up before the end of the year. We'll see. You'll have to stay tuned to figure it out. If you're not subscribed, you might want to do that. And now my voice is telling me that I've talked enough, so I'm going to wrap this up. I will leave a video over here. If you're new here and you want to hear what I normally sound like, check that one out. Remember that the treasure is found in the journey, not just in your destination. I hope you have a beautiful, blessed day. Bye-bye.